It's a typical November day along the shores of Lake Michigan. Welcome to Soldier Field in Chicago, everyone. The 5-5 Denver Broncos tied for the lead in the AFC West against the 4-6 Chicago Bears, who have work to do. They say there may be a little bit of freezing rain in the forecast, but right now, no precipitation. The temperature is 39 degrees. Greg Gumbel along with Dan Deerdorf welcoming you to the action, coming your way in high definition. The Chicago Bears have won the toss. They've elected to receive, and there is one of the most dangerous football players in the entire league, Devin Hester. He's returned a kickoff for a touchdown this season and 2 punts for TDs as well. Todd Sauerbrunn, the Denver kicker, has said earlier this week, we're not afraid of Devin Hester and we'll kick to him, but we'll see if the Denver coaching staff has other ideas, Dan.
Last time I checked, Mike Shanahan was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, not Todd Sauerbrunn, so I think he'll do as he's told.
There's a look at Mike Shanahan in his 13th season as the head coach of the Denver Broncos.
And a Chicago native who's returning to Soldier Field for the first time as a head coach in the National Football League. He has family all over the stadium.
Devin Hester has the fans fired up. He stands at his own 5-yard line. Sauerbrunn advances, and we're underway. Hester from the 5. Across the 25 and down at about the 28 or the 29-yard line. Rex Grossman replaced an injured Brian Griese 2 weeks ago. Since then has played very well indeed. The Bears need him on a roll to keep any playoff hopes alive. The offensive line is experienced, 44 years of experience, led by steady and reliable Olin Kreutz at center. The running game will look to Cedric Benson, who had a good outing at Seattle last week. Through the air, Bernard Berrien had a career best 9 catches for 102 yards. With Benson and McKee in the backfield, Grossman calls the signals, and here's Benson. Across the 30 and out to about the 32-yard line. Denver's 4-3 defense looks like this. Up front, keep an eye on number 92, second-year defensive end Elvis Dumervil. 8 sacks and an interception so far. The linebackers, 1 Michigan Wolverine, Ian Gold, 2 Miami Hurricanes, DJ Williams and Nate Webster. And look at all the Pro Bowlers in the secondary. Dre Bly has been to 2, Champ Bailey to the last 7 in a row, John Lynch has been to 8. On 2nd and 7, Benson the only one behind Grossman, who will throw for the first time today. That one is complete. Bernard Berrien, and Berrien out to about the 44-yard line. That's enough for a Chicago first down.
And Bernard Berrien, the leading receiver on this Chicago team, a favorite target, whether it's Brian Griese or whether it's Rex Grossman. The guy runs good routes, and he is really a quality receiver. In his 4th year, battling a toe injury, missed a lot of practice this week, was a question mark, but that's a good way to get off to a start.
Devin Hester is in at a wide receiver now. 12-yard pickup on that completion by Grossman. First down at their own 44 for the Bears. Batted in the air and incomplete. John Engelberger, number 60, the defensive end, got a hand on it. There's Lovie Smith, who laid down the law to his team this week. He said, you know, I usually don't like to take things more than 1 game at a time, but he just flat out said, we need to win our last 6 games.
Well, and they figure you got to win 10 games to make sure you're in the playoffs, even though that's not a certainty. But I'll say this, that's a tall order given the way the Bears have been playing this season.
Play fake to Benson. Grossman still with the ball and throws it away. It'll be 3rd and 10. Elvis Dumervil putting the pressure on Grossman.
The Bears have just been unbelievably inconsistent. They play really well 1 week, the next week not at all. And what's really surprising is that they're 1-3 here at Soldier Field. What was once one of the really good home field advantages in the NFL, not happening for the Bears here in 07.
A look at Chicago fortunes on 3rd down. Adrian Peterson has come into the backfield for the Bears on this 3rd and long. From the shotgun, Grossman to Peterson. And Peterson bumped out of bounds after about a 1 or a 2 yard gain. Not nearly enough for the first down, and the kicking unit will come on.
Well, a very safe throw that time by Rex Grossman. If he's done one thing differently in these last 6 quarters as a starter, it's been in the ball security department. He's not taking as many big chances as he did before.
Glenn Martinez deep at his own 10-yard line for the kick. He returned a punt 80 yards for a touchdown against Tennessee. Martinez at the 11 dodges 1 tackler but not the second, and is down before he reaches the 15-yard line. And those of you just joining us here in Chicago, Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, early moments of the game between Denver and Chicago. Dan, we have our first divisional champion. The New England Patriots have clinched the division, the AFC East, by virtue of Buffalo's loss. Buffalo lost to Jacksonville today to fall 5-6, and the Bear defense takes the field. Jay Cutler is the Denver quarterback. A little more comfortable, a little more confident, a little better every time out. The second-year quarterback out of Vanderbilt. Andre Hall is the deep back behind him, and he gets the call, and not much there. Cutler's offensive line: Lepsis, Cooper, Myers, Holland, and Eric Pierce. With Travis Henry and Selvin Young out, Hall starts at running back, and second-year wide receiver Brandon Marshall, boy, has he created a buzz all around the NFL. That's Andre Hall. No gain on the first play. It's 2nd and 10. Coming around, Brandon Marshall runs out of room, runs out of bounds. The Bears 4-3 defense with 30 sacks, the 3rd most in the league. Darwin Walker starts for Tommy Harris, who will see limited action time with a sore knee. The linebackers, Lance Briggs and Hunter Hillenmeyer, flank the Bears' leading tackler, Brian Urlacher, now in his 8th season. In the secondary, Nathan Vasher out of action with the groin injury. Ricky Manning Jr. starts in his place at cornerback. There's Urlacher as the Bear defense has forced Denver into a 3rd and 10. Javon Walker, who has been out of action with a sore knee, is in at wide receiver. Cutler running out of time, lost the football. It's on the ground at about the 8-yard line, and it looked as if Denver recovered. A couple of the Bears say that they've recovered, but it is Denver football, and they'll kick it away.
Jay Cutler, after that much time, has to expect to get hit. His pocket has collapsed. You can't hold the football out away from your body like that. Wally Ogunleye came in with the hit that knocked the ball loose. As a quarterback, after that much time, with your pocket disintegrating, you got to get the ball close to your body.
You see what Devin Hester has done in his career with the return game. Kick is away. Hester at the 46, across midfield to the Denver 48-yard line, where Cecil Sapp makes the stop. 10:47 to play in the first quarter of a scoreless game here at Soldier Field. Rex Grossman and the Chicago offense back onto the field, the line of scrimmage, the Denver 47.5-yard line. Terrific field position for Grossman and the Bears as they get started with their second possession here, and Grossman to throw. On the move, throws over the middle, and that's complete. Inside the 30 to the 25-yard line is Desmond Clark, the tight end.
Well, again, this is Rex Grossman extending the play with movement. Not a great scrambler. He's not moving to run. He's just moving to buy himself a little time. And against the Denver zone, good job by Desmond Clark of finding a soft spot right in the middle.
Dan, we were talking about the lightning rods in this game. The Chicago Bears have several. Rex Grossman is certainly one.
He's the biggest one.
On first down, Benson for a couple. And Rex Grossman has been the topic of discussion, certainly all the way back to last season, and then a horrid outing in the Super Bowl, which caused eventually this season a change of quarterbacks. He came on to replace Brian Griese, who was injured a game and a half ago.
It was after 3 games that Grossman got the hook. Griese then carried the mail, and then he got hurt. But since Grossman has been back, the 6 quarters that he has played have really been exceptional. Quarterback rating over 90. So Rex Grossman seems to have learned a lesson. Now, 6 quarters does not a season make.
This is Benson. Benson fighting his way to about the 16-yard line. Elvis Dumerville and John Lynch with the stop.
There's exactly what I was talking about. You see a quarterback rating in the first 3 games of 45.2, 1 touchdown against 6 interceptions. Well, I'm sorry, that'll get any quarterback benched. But on the right, wow, what an improvement. Question is, can he keep that going?
3rd and short yardage, Grossman with the sneak and the first down. You know, Rex was telling us that he finds himself enjoying the game more rather than fearing the repercussions of what might happen during the game.
Well, he had plenty of time to think. He certainly found out that he hated standing on the sidelines. It's an awkward thing to lose your job, and he lost it to that guy right there, Brian Griese, who's healthy enough to be the number 2 quarterback. And you know, you get a lot of time for self-reflection to find out how you got in that spot.
Benson again, and Benson fights his way to the 11 where Engelberger makes the stop. Rex was blatantly honest when he said, you know, it's tough during the national anthem. Everybody starts to get going, and you know you're not going to play.
No, you better believe it is. And he said, I learned a lot. He said, I'll tell you one thing. I'm not going to take some of the chances that I've taken in the past. I've realized that if I take care of the football, if I don't force it, if I don't give him the easy interception, I'm going to get to keep my job. Well, we'll see if he can control himself.
A look at red zone fortunes for the Bears this season, and then Benson inside the 10.
That was a touchdown.
Almost broke it to the end zone.
He just fell down. Cedric Benson just had too much body lean and fell down. Boy, this is a wasted opportunity. He just stumbles and falls. He'd like to have that over. Yeah, he's shaking his head. I guess he's looking for the mystery hand that tripped him up that isn't there.
3rd and 2 for Chicago at the Denver 6. There's John Lynch.
And Cedric Benson better get used to seeing Lynch. He'll be the 8th man in the box all day.
Pump fake, throws to the end zone, caught, and out of bounds. Muhsin Muhammad went up for it, came down, out of bounds.
Well, some of that was the coverage of Denver that forces Grossman to throw it really high. And that really was a sensational throw by Rex Grossman to get it over Champ Bailey, because Champ Bailey is all over Muhsin Muhammad. Bailey knew where he was on the field. Trust me, Champ Bailey knew at that point that there's no way that ball could be completed and yet be in bounds.
Robbie Gould from 24 yards out to give the Bears the lead. On its way and good. 6:55 to play, first quarter. The Bears lead at 3-0.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Wachovia, we're absolutely obsessed with satisfying our customers. And by the new 2008 Focus.
Just a part of the terrific Chicago skyline on a sunny and cold day. And some of the Bears faithful. Chicago on top 3-0. Andre Hall and Kyle Johnson are deep for the kick. This one will be fairly short. And Hall to the 25 and forward to about the 27-yard line. Jay Cutler and the Denver offense back to work when we come back to Soldier Field after this. tomorrow here on CBS. If you really want to know the secrets of the rich and famous, ask the nanny. David Caruso stars in a new episode of Monday night's #1 drama, CSI Miami, tomorrow at 10, 9 Central Time on CBS.
I could just ask you.
Pardon?
I could just ask you.
Yeah. A look at Jay Cutler's numbers. Slowly but surely rounding into the quarterback that they expected when they drafted him last season out of Vanderbilt. On first down, Cutler keeps it.
I do not believe that was a design play.
Someone missed something in the backfield.
Jay made the most of it. If you're going to bust it so badly, you fool the whole defense. Oh, he even faked the pitch. Yeah, like Jay was an old option quarterback.
Well, he can run. He has surprising speed for a big quarterback.
He a 4.7 guy, that is very good speed at the quarterback position.
And he picked up 6 on the play at 2nd and 4. Cutler throwing over the middle, a little bit behind Brandon Stokely, the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Well, let's go ahead and check out Stokely working from the slot, working against the Chicago zone. He was open. That ball from Jay Cutler just thrown way behind him.
Now, Jay Cutler is number 2 in the league in 3rd down completion percentage. He's completing almost 72% of his throws on 3rd down. Play clock winding down. He got the play off in time. Penalty marker is down. The pass down the sideline is incomplete. Intended for Marshall. Let's check the flag. Our referee today is Larry Nemmers. And here's Larry's first call of the day.
Illegal motion on the offense, number 84, moving forward at the snap. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
There is Javon Walker, who has been out of action. He missed 7 games with a sore right knee. So Sauerbrunn will kick it away, and once again at the other end, that man, Devin Hester.
As a former player, this is the angle that we watched all of our film from behind. Love it.
Low kick, it'll bounce. Hester got a hand on it, it's on the ground and it's free, and the Broncos fall on into the 25-yard line. Nick Ferguson fell on the loose football.
And right there, Devin Hester looked like a second-year player. I'm not sure what he thought he was going to attempt with that ball that was that far away. To reach that far, I don't know if he thought that thing was going to stick to his hands like it was Velcro or not. But that was a gift-wrapped package for the Denver Broncos.
And Cutler and company now in business at the Chicago 25. Andre Hall, left side, little running room inside the 20 to the 15. And took an awkward spill, but pops right up. Anthony Adams with the stop.
Again, typical Denver, the zone blocking on the left side. Cecil Sapp comes around and seals it off, and then it's just breaking tackles. He runs right through the tackle of Ricky Manning Jr. And Devin Hester right now, the uncomfortable position of seeing if his teammates can get him out of trouble.
This is Hall again, trying to turn the corner, and bumped out of bounds at about the 10-yard line by Charles Tillman, the cornerback on this side of the field.
Boy, how exciting is this for Andre Hall? Practice squad player last year. He actually went to training camp with Chicago last year. So the Bears know a little bit about Andre Hall. But you know what? This game is all about making the most of your opportunity when it comes. And with Young out and with Travis Henry out, this is Andre Hall's chance.
On 2nd and 7, once again, Hall. And Hall slips inside the 5 to about the 3, and it's a first down.
Again, there are a lot of people in this league that think you could, you put the equipment guy in there running the ball for Denver and you're going to be successful. Obviously, it's not that easy. But right now, in the early going, and again last week, Andre Hall, when he had a chance to fill in for Selvin Young, he has really run hard. He's run well.
1st and goal for Denver. Hall again. This time he's met before he reaches the line of scrimmage. Lance Briggs, Adam Archuleta in on the stop. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, that is truly the definition of there was no hole. He ran into a concrete wall and just bounced backwards.
You're right about the opportunity thing, Dan. Mike Shanahan, we're talking to him about all of his backs and about every one of them. He goes, he's a pretty good back. He's a pretty good back.
Yes. And again, though, it's being ready. Seize that opportunity when it's your turn.
Lost 2 yards on the play. 2nd and goal from the 5. Cutler rolling. Throws back across his body, and it's tipped and falls incomplete in the end zone. 3rd and goal.
There's Brian Urlacher. Yep, he's the one that gets it. Hits it with his left hand. Boy, that is some kind of elevation. We all know how fast Brian Urlacher is, even playing with the bad back. But he's got some ups too. That was a pretty good job elevating.
Cutler yet to complete a pass. He's 0 for 3 today, and he's looking at 3rd and goal from the 5. Javon Walker has come back onto the field, and he is spread to the top of your screen. Short drop, quick pass, incomplete. Number 89, Daniel Graham, the tight end, the intended receiver.
Boy, Jay Cutler really forced that ball into a lot of traffic.
And you just saw Devin Hester on the sideline breathing a sigh of relief.
Trying to go to Daniel Graham, who's his tight end, but look how the traffic comes from both sides. Briggs from one side, Urlacher from the other. They both closed and were there the same time the football got there.
Jason Elam from 23 yards out, and it's a tie game. Wasn't as costly as it could have been for Devin Hester and the Bears. We're tied at 3. We'll be back after this.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by McDonald's and by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Leaves are all over the ground. It's a little nippy. Snow showers can't be far behind. Welcome back to Chicago, everyone. And Devin Hester will give it another shot.
Think he's not thinking about making a big play here?
Sauerbrunn looks perfectly willing to kick to him. Low line drive kick, bounces at the 15. This time Hester corrals it. Oh, hits hard before he reaches the 20-yard line. Mike Bell, number 30, the man who made contact. 3:10 to play in the first. Hey, the CBS Sports Store is the perfect place to save big on gifts for all the sports fans in your life. Today only, you can save 20% on all officially licensed NFL jerseys and caps. Just click on shop at cbssports.com. 3:10 to play in the first quarter. From the 18-yard line, Grossman to throw. Going to go deep, far side of the field. It is intercepted. Carl Pema, number 41, with his second pick of the season.
Well, Rex saw that he had single coverage, and he's going to try to let his guy make a play. Take a look at this. Bernard Berrien working against Pema all the way. Man coverage, and Pema fights for the football. He's got as much right to that ball. He actually in a better position, stride for stride with Berrien. Again, I understand you want your guy to make the play, But that time, Pema, give him credit, outstanding coverage.
The last 2 minutes and 49 seconds have seen 2 Chicago Bear turnovers. And the Broncos take over at their own 41. Cutler, rolling, gonna keep it. Looking for a block across the 45, out to about the 47-yard line to New York, the NFL Today, and James Brown, JB.
Hey, Greg, after spotting Arizona a 7-0 lead, Trent Dilfer breaks a drought of 12 touchdown-less quarters for San Francisco, hitting Vernon Davis there with that 2-yarder, capitalizing on an Arizona turnover. It's all knotted at 7 in the second. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Dierdorf.
All right, thank you, JB. And Seattle on top of that NFC West. San Francisco, nothing in the works for playoff action this season. Andre Hall and Cecil Sapp in the backfield, but this pass is to tight end Tony Scheffler. Scheffler across midfield and into Chicago territory, and enough for a first down for the Denver Broncos.
Off a really nice play action by Jay Cutler. And of course, with the Denver Broncos, play action really means something. Because of the way they run the football, it's an effective play action. Jay Cutler, a good ball handler. Keep in mind, Cutler, second-year player, but today the 16th start of his NFL career. So he's really just completing one full season of starts at the end of today's game.
And he's been feeling his way through. I thought it was interesting. He said some of the veterans came to him and said, we need you to take a more vocal leadership role on this team. Cutler to throw. Over the middle. A little low. Brandon Stokely, the intended receiver.
Well, Cutler, I think, intended to throw that ball low so that Stokely could be the only guy in position to make a play, but this is way too low. Ricky Manning Jr., you can see he's in position, and that's just an unacceptable throw from Cutler.
Cutler is just 1 out of 6 throwing the ball today for 5 yards. Ricky! Chicago with more total yards, but a 3-3 tie on the scoreboard. 2nd and 10. Cutler's time, and right on the money, this time inside the 35 to Stokely. And that is another Denver first down.
Boy, these Chicago linebackers really get such depth. That time Cutler had to get it past Lance Briggs, who's way back there in coverage. You see 55 moving across your screen. He almost gets a hand on the ball. Boy, you've got to have feel and confidence as a quarterback. Look at this from behind. Look and see what Jay Cutler is saying. See Briggs, he's right there. You have to hope and plan that your receiver is going to break loose behind.
Looked like the same pattern except going in the other direction, and this is Andre Hall.
But these, you know, Greg, these two linebackers, especially Briggs and Urlacher, they cover so much ground. They just terrorize quarterbacks being in that short area. But you think, you know, hey, they're linebackers. They're only going to get back, you know, 10 or 15 yards. Hey, Urlacher will be back there messing up a route that's 25 yards down the field. It's the kind of range this guy has.
Urlacher wants to see this Bear team get down to business, whatever happens at the end of the season. Cutler. This one complete inside the 30 to Tony Scheffler, the tight end, and that'll bring us to the end of the first quarter. After one, it's Denver 3 and the Chicago Bears 3, and we're coming back to Chicago right after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Back in Soldier Field for the start of the second quarter, along with Dan Dierdorf, I'm Greg Gumbel. A little precipitation beginning to come down.
And the first thing that we'll see is that this field is going to get slippery. The grass is going to get a little wet. And watch for guys to start losing their footing.
Cutler looking at a 3rd and 5. Quick pass out to the side, and his receiver slipped and fell. That was Brandon Marshall.
Boy, and again, Brandon Marshall, you lose your confidence when that happens. But his feet, again, as I just said, look at that. He just, wow, he looked like he was on roller skates. Time to change cleats, guys.
And Cutler is out there on 4th down.
Might have to go to longer cleats, and you're going to have to shorten up your stride. Make a concerted effort to keep your feet underneath you.
The Broncos going for it on 4th and 5.
Be about a 47-yard field goal if they tried the field goal.
Cutler waits, throws, got his man inside the 20. That's Brandon Marshall on a 1st down for the Denver Broncos.
Man, big time throw by Jay Cutler. Big time throw because the coverage was pretty good. Working against Tillman. Look, Tillman is right behind him, but he's totally screened. He's totally hidden behind the 6'4", 230-pound Brandon Marshall. That's where there's no substitute for being huge. Charles Tillman behind him, even though he's 6'1", had no idea where the ball was.
9th play of this drive, 1st down for Denver. And Cutler this time with the pitch to Andre Hall to the 5, touchdown.
Well, Mike Shanahan in front of the home folks goes deep into the bag of tricks. Greg mentioned earlier about the way Jay Cutler can move. Fake to the one side, he comes out. Ricky Manning has to take him, and then the pitch outside to Hall, who's wide open. Then it's one broken tackle of Archuleta, and he's into the end zone.
You just don't see that kind of a play that often in the NFL. Looked like something out of the Missouri-Kansas game last night. Elam's kick is good, and with 14 minutes, 10 seconds to play in the 1st half, the Denver Broncos have grabbed the lead. It's 10-3. Denver Broncos with 10 points off of Bears turnovers today. That play, a 9-play, 59-yard drive, capped off by Andre Hall's run from 16 yards out.
That's the kind of a play that really gets a defense scratching their heads and going, what did we do wrong? Why weren't we in a position to defend that? Well, the reason you weren't in it, because you don't practice it. You don't expect Jay Cutler to come out and run the option. What's next, a single wing?
Devin Hester back at the 5-yard line, and this is Hester. He'll bounce once, and here comes Devin. 25. And wrestled to the ground at about the 28 or 29-yard line. Let's go back to the scoring play.
Well, a couple things happen here. Here's a Goonlier. Daniel Graham is going to run him all the way upfield. Here comes the option out underneath it. Watch Adam Archuleta here, though. It's his play. He's the one Bear defender who's unaccounted for. He's looking at it right now, and he just can't make the play. He's indecisive. He doesn't really get a good upfield drive. And Andre Hall pretty easily breaks the tackle and gets into the end zone.
Brian Urlacher was shaking his head when we talked to him. He said, we must lead the league in missed tackles.
Well, we've seen several already.
This is Cedric Benson. And Benson across the 30 to about the 32, where John Engelberger brings him to a stop. In fact, Urlacher said, this is the most inconsistent team I've ever been on. They're just up and down.
He's brutally honest in assessing this football team. I said, were they mental errors? You know, when you look at your defensive failures, and he said, no, we just flat out aren't tackling.
2nd and 6 now, and it's Benson once again. And Benson comes up short of the 35-yard line. They'll give him a 2-yard gain on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 4.
Well, all sorts of people down here in the box. Take a look at this. That's what you're going to see until Chicago can pass their way out of that. You're going to get 8 guys in the box. John Lynch is going to set up shop and call it home.
Hester now in as wide receiver as Grossman spreads the field on 3rd and 4. Going to keep it on the ground. Benson, 1st down and then some. Midfield to the 45 of the Broncos and a 1st down. Ball is loose, and there was a whistle. It is whistled down at the 45.
And Benson's hurt. Benson is clutching his left leg.
and they were waving for help in a hurry from the sideline. 12:32 to play in the half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Wrangler, makers of Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. American Express, are you a card member? And by Chrysler, the way our vehicles come together is what sets us apart. Chrysler, engineered beautifully.
Back at Soldier Field, Cedric Benson is back on his feet, but certainly doesn't look like he's ready to play anymore.
And you know why it was a good decision to run the football on 3rd down? That's why instead of 8, there's only 6 guys in the box, and that makes it relatively easy. Every one of them is accounted for. Now watch the end of this run, and watch right here when he puts his leg down, right there the tackler falls right on it. Abdullah falls right on the left leg and the left ankle of Cedric Benson.
Benson had ripped off a 21-yard gain. He was coming off a 43-yard touchdown run last week against Seattle, a career best, and the talk all week long was they didn't give him the ball enough.
Boy, and he is not capable of putting any weight on it whatsoever as they bring out the cart. He's going to hop over there without touching the ground at all. And man, what a shame after a good run like that. Really showed a great burst. Pretty classy. Even some guys from the Broncos over there wishing him well.
3rd-year running back out of Texas will be taken off to the locker room and examined. And Adrian Peterson replaces him. In the meantime, to JB in New York.
Hey, Greg, looking to end an 8-game losing streak is San Francisco running back Frank Gore, 11-yard touchdown run to put the 49ers up by 10. Niners with 14 points off of turnovers. They lead at 17-7 in the second. Back to Greg Gumbel and Dan Deardorff.
Thank you, JB. Dan, you and I talk about underrated ball players. Frank Gore is one that just doesn't get the attention he deserves.
No, he doesn't. Fantasy guys know about him, though. They love him. But again, when you're playing for a losing club, the publicity just isn't there.
Cedric Benson wheels off. Adrian Peterson, number 29, replaces him in the backfield. First down, Bears at the Denver 45. And Peterson gets the handoff. And will get a couple before he is stacked up at about the 42-yard line.
And now we're back. Check. We even got one peeking up on the corner over here. Check that out.
It's like a town hall meeting in the middle of the field.
We got 8.5 in the box right there. We got 8 full-time and 1 guy peeking.
2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. Grossman, play fake, throw. McKee out of the backfield, looking for a first down and has it before he's bumped out of bounds. To about the 32.
And I think Denver overplayed the run right here. Again, they had 8 guys up on the line of scrimmage. John Lynch is coming in on a blitz off the corner. Chicago did a good job of picking it up. Give Ron Turner credit there. That was a good play call, getting it out to McKee.
So the Bears now with another first down. Peterson picks his way for about a yard or so. We remind you, you can send your favorite player to Hawaii. Vote for the 2008 Pro Bowl at NFL.com/Pro Bowl or text PRO to 7777 via your Sprint service. Standard text rates apply. And you can enter to win a trip to the 2008 Pro Bowl only at NFL.com/Pro Bowl.
Having a talk with Rex Grossman the other day about, told him if I was an offensive coordinator, I'd be tempted to throw the ball on first down every time, just to keep away from those 2nd and 8s where the defense is playing the run.
Under pressure, and he goes down. Dre Bly, the cornerback, came in untouched.
Well, safety blitzes a lot of times are in the middle. The corners come off the edge, and 9 times out of 10 they are totally unaccounted for. From the top of your screen, no way can Fred Miller get out there in time to pick up a blitzing Dre Bly. It's a high-risk, high-reward move for a defensive coordinator, because when you're really opening up that side of the field, that time, big-time payoff for Denver.
Loss of 11 on the play, and it's 3rd and 19. Grossman steps up, short toss to Peterson. Peterson looking for running room, and is going to run out of it in a hurry. Back to the 35, Ian Gold makes the stop, a gain of 7 on the play, and that will bring the kicking unit onto the field. Brad Maynard is the punter. Watching practice the other day, Dan, he can throw a pretty good forward pass.
Well, here you are. You're at the 35-yard line. You boot this into the end zone, and you've picked up a net 15 yards. This is where a punter's got to really throttle down to just dump a little pooch down there.
Martinez will let this one go over his head, trying to save it down at the other end. The Bears can't do it. That was Corey Graham trying to bring it back. 20-yard line is where the Broncos will get it started. When we come back, 9:09 to play in the half. Last 2 Denver drives have resulted in a touchdown and a field goal. The touchdown after an interception and the field goal after a fumble. Mike Bell is in the background. Cutler's going to throw. This is Cecil Sapp out of the backfield, and he runs out of bounds at about the 24, 25-yard line. A look at the playoff picture. Buffalo's lost to Jacksonville, and that gives the AFC East to New England. Indianapolis plays Thursday night. Pittsburgh plays tomorrow night, and San Diego is losing against the Baltimore Ravens as we speak. 7-3 is the score. Jacksonville a winner, Cleveland a winner. The leaders in the wild card hunt.
So that makes this a huge game for Denver. Knotted up right now with San Diego in the West with the same record, even though they technically are behind because San Diego beat them earlier this year.
Cutler throwing. That is intercepted as a penalty marker comes in. This is Danielle Manning. And let's check the penalty flag.
Well, Brandon Stokely seems pretty positive this is going to be against Chicago. He's not wearing stripes, though.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 92. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The call is on Hunter Hillenmeyer. And that will nullify the interception. And Denver retains possession.
There's Hillenmeyer dropping back into coverage. Oh yeah, no question. He makes a lot of contact with Stokely way beyond the 5-yard zone. He made contact with Stokely probably 12, 15 yards downfield.
That's the first penalty of the game on either team. Cutler gives to Bell. Loose ball. Bears have it. Wally Ogunleye has the football, and a huge turnover.
Well, did you hear that hit that dislodged the ball from Mike Bell? Mike Bell, who got a lot of action last year for Denver, a non-factor this year. Lance Briggs just puts his helmet right on the football, crushes Bell, and no Denver player saw it on the ground. Let's listen.
And the Bears start from the Denver 16-yard line. Grossman to throw. Running out of time, pulls it down and gets pulled down. Penalty markers fly. That's Elvis Dumerville in on the Chicago quarterback. And now let's check the flag. This looks like it'll be against the Bears.
Good job by Grossman, though, of covering up the football with 2 hands. You know the defense is trying to strip.
Offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's John Tate.
Big John Tate, the left tackle.
He has his hands full today, Dan.
Well, John Tate at 6'6", Elvis Dumerville at 5'11". Dumerville, though, gets away. Oh, right there, he grabs and holds on. This is a matchup that Dumerville really likes. He thinks he can get all over Tabor.
Peterson still on his feet. And now buried at the 25. We were talking about those San Diego Chargers. JB has an update. James.
Hey, Greg and Dan, both of you know the anemic scoring Baltimore offense can use points any way they can get it. They get Willis McGahee with that 1-yarder in his 6th straight game with a touchdown. Ravens on top of San Diego, 7-3 in the second. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf.
All right, JB, and the Ravens looking up from 4-6 at Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Hey, and anytime you see Baltimore score a touchdown, that's worthy of national attention.
Stop the presses. Grossman on 2nd and 18. Straight drop, going for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown. Greg Olsen, the tight end.
Oh, does he do a nice push-off.
We have a penalty marker back in the backfield.
Repeat, second down.
And it's a hold.
All right, there's Elvis Dumerville. This time he's working on Fred Miller. And Miller's got the right arm out there and then comes in and grabs a little from behind. And that's Larry Nemmers, the referee, responsible for watching the right tackle. So Elvis Dumerville drawing back-to-back holding penalties.
Miller has had a tough week, to say the least. They've been all over him. He had 2 false start penalties and allowed 3 sacks to his man in the loss to Seattle last week.
And look at this, 2nd and 29. They don't have plays for this.
Grossman running out of time. And he goes down back at the 44-yard line. Kenny Peterson and Elvis Dumerville.
Again, 92 is Dumerville working against Fred Miller. Again, he gets the rip. That's a classic rip move. He gets through there. Pressure inside as well from Kenny Peterson. And between the two of them, they just collapse the pocket. And if you didn't have one for 2nd and 29, well, I don't know what you have for 3rd and 37. Maybe a quick kick.
A couple of turnover penalties have nullified, and a couple of turnovers, and then the penalties have nullified an interception and a touchdown. Grossman.
2 huge plays
For Peterson. To the 35, to the 30, to about the 26-yard line.
Oh, and the question is he going to get him into field goal range? That's an effective play, and I think Gold's going to try a field goal. That was a good job of picking up enough yards to give your kicker a chance.
So this one looks like it'll be about 44 yards.
And it looked to me like Denver was pretty cavalier in conceding that much yardage to the Bears.
Gold is hit from 49 this year. That's his long.
Going to be tough with that plant foot on a slippery field.
Kick is on its way. It looks pretty good. 3 more on the board for the Bears. 5:32 to play in the first half. It's 10-6 Denver.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by KFC's new festive feast. Bring back dinner at KFC. And by Circuit City. Circuit City makes it simple to shop, buy, and enjoy. It's simplicity guaranteed.
Along with Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel back at rainy Soldier Field now. 5:32 to play in the first half. And the Broncos with a 10-6 lead. That's Glenn Martinez deep.
That makes for a great picture, but not a whole lot of fun to sit in the stands on a cold day with it raining that hard.
This will be Martinez from the 7. 20. And brought down at about the 22 or the 23-yard line. Here's a reminder for you coming up tonight on The Amazing Race. The teams hustle through Africa where they'll need speed, skill, and maybe a little rhythm in order to stay ahead. Don't miss the show critics call one of the best on TV. It's an all-new Amazing Race. That's tonight after 60 minutes.
Well, Greg, a story of this game is going to be about ball security. In this rain, taking care of the football. This is turnover heaven.
On first down, this is Andre Hall. And Hall out to about the 29. It's already about ball security, Dan. 13 of the 16 points scored have been off turnovers so far.
And it's only going to get worse. Let's check out the quarterbacks and what they've done so far. The one turnover belongs to Rex Grossman. Nothing stellar being done by either one. But again, at least Jay Cutler has taken care of the football.
Cedric Benson, the word we get is that his return is questionable with an ankle injury. Suffered that a few minutes ago, and he has not reappeared on the field since taken to the locker room. Cutler rolling, being chased, going to throw it down the sideline, and that's incomplete. Stokely, the nearest receiver. It'll be 3rd and 4.
And again, that was pretty much the throwaway by Jay Cutler. The guy gets out of the pocket. You know, he replaced the guy that was effective out of the pocket in Jake Plummer. Again, a quarterback who was very comfortable on the move. And again, they had that number 7 there for a long time that was fairly comfortable on the move.
Oh, what's his name?
What is it?
You know, it's amazing. Anybody who walks into that quarterback position is going to face the inevitable comparisons to John Elway.
It's a big shadow.
Denver 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Cutler with the pass off the fingertips of Brandon Marshall. And now they're 0 for 5.
Is Marshall hurt?
Now he gets up and walks off the field.
He's nicked a little bit.
Dan, he's just cold.
Well, part of that was frustration, but that, again, he was well covered. Credit the Bears. That was good coverage.
Devin Hester deep. There he is.
Well, a lot of guys slipping and sliding. You could see a big play coming in the special teams.
Sauerbrunn just barely got it away. Hester and let it bounce, and we'll try to return this. And there is a penalty marker down back here at about the 40-yard line. And Larry Nimmer is going to consult, and here's the call.
During the kick, holding on the return team, number 43. That 10-yard penalty will be assessed from the end of the kick. First down, Chicago.
That's the Wake Forest rookie Josh Gaddis guilty of the penalty. 4:23 to play in the first half. Hey, tomorrow on CBS, How I Met Your Mother goes where no other comedy has gone before. The Victoria's Secret Fashion Show. Heidi Klum guest stars on an all-new How I Met Your Mother tomorrow at 8/7 Central on CBS.
Well, that's all you got to say. I'm watching that.
Rex Grossman, 6 out of 10 for 68 yards, sacked twice, and has thrown an interception.
He's a long way from Bader.
This is Peterson, right side. And his deck short of the 15-yard line.
When you're a running back and you're going horizontal to the line of scrimmage, it's going to be tough to make that upfield cut. Peterson found out right there. The footing on this field is slippery, and it's going to deteriorate as this game goes along. And again, you can't be going horizontal to the line of scrimmage and think you're going to make anything that even resembles a sharp upfield cut.
2nd and 9, and Grossman's going to throw. This one is complete and dropped. Muhsin Muhammad right into his hands and dropped it. 3rd and 9.
Well, you can't blame Rex Grossman for this. Look at that tight spiral. That is just an absolutely perfect pass. Goes right through Muhammad's hands and hits him in the face mask. Receivers do not like that to happen. Look at that in their last 13 possessions. Not much production.
3rd and 9. Peterson Not much on the ground, and the fans are going to rain the booze down.
Oh, they don't like that call. Again, it should have been a first down on the previous play.
So Glenn Martinez drops back. And barring something strange, Denver's going to come out of this with pretty good field position as we wind down toward 3 minutes to play in the first half and all of their timeouts remaining. Martinez going to let it fall. And it's going to bounce out of bounds inside the 35-yard line.
Well, when you have a losing record, obviously a lot of things have gone wrong. And for Chicago, they have had more than their fair share of drop passes. Now take a look right on the hands of Cedric Benson. Then it's Berrien's turn. Everybody's had a hand in it. sometimes all thumbs. And then that one just happened. The strike to Muhsin Muhammad. And again, Lovie Smith has been tortured all year by drop passes.
Here's Andre Hall trying the left side. He's stacked up short of the 35-yard line. Briggs and Urlacher in on the stop as we come up on 2:40 to play in the first half. 27 drop passes.
That is not the kind of notoriety that you'd like to accumulate as an offense. Those are drive killers. Keep your defense on the field way too long. Those things just flat kill you.
Ball again. Turns the corner this time. And out across the 35 to about the 36, and that should bring us to the 2-minute warning.
Andre Hall is going to get a lot of work because I think Mike Bell, after that fumble, is in Mike Shanahan's doghouse.
2 minutes to play at Soldier Field. Denver with the football and a 10-6 lead on the Bears. And coming up, the Sprint halftime report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Coach Cowher have all the latest NFL scores and highlights on the Sprint halftime report. Shannon Sharp still on the pup list.
See this?
Yeah.
That's called a doghouse.
Mike Bell with a fumble, hasn't seen action since. On 3rd and 7. Coming this way. Penalty markers fly as Hall gets buried.
Wow, there's not a flag left in anyone's pocket.
Holding offense number 70.
The right guard,
Holding
Montre
offense,
Holland.
number 89. Those penalties are declined.
So Denver now 0 for 6.
Well, he wasn't alone
on 3rd down.
I think they got Daniel Graham as well. There were multiple holding calls.
So here's Devin Hester trying to jumpstart the Bears.
Boy, the crowd, you just feel the buzz in this crowd every time Devin Hester is back there deep.
Sauerbrunn gets it away. Hester on the move. Sees it bounce and will let it roll. Takes a Denver roll all the way to the Bears' 21-yard line. That's a 43-yard kick.
Well, let's go back to 2001 and take a look at what happened to the loser of the previous year's Super Bowl. And you can see that for 5 consecutive years, the Giants, the Rams, the Raiders, Carolina and Philadelphia all missed the playoffs. Last year, Seattle did make the playoffs, but they lost in the divisional round. And the Bears certainly, they're working their way toward that missed category. They're going to have some remaining 6-game run.
Peterson on the screen. 30, 35, caught from behind and down at the 39-yard line. Clock continues to move, 1.5 minutes to play. And of course, as Lovie Smith says, the Bears are in their playoff season right now. Grossman under pressure got rid of it. It's incomplete. That'll stop the clock with 1:10 to play.
Again, though, that time Rex Grossman got rid of the football and delivered it. Wouldn't have gone anywhere. Peterson was really covered well, but again, he delivered a ball that should have been caught.
We've talked about his inconsistencies, and that matches the Bears' fortunes exactly.
Yes, it does.
This year.
Boy, and a lot of pressure, though, on the shoulders of Adrian Peterson without Cedric Benson available.
Hester in at a wide receiver on 2nd and 10. Grossman steps up on the run, dragged down. At about the 39 by Kenny Peterson, who's made a couple of big tackles. And there's a timeout. The Bears burn their first of this half with 59 seconds to play. Bears ideally would like to get Robbie Gould within range.
Well, that would be for a 50-yard field goal. And again, in this on this wet field and in these conditions, that has to be the outer edges of where Gould could connect.
Neither of these teams has performed well on 3rd down today. The Bears 2 out of 7. Denver 0 for 6.
I'd say that's substandard.
Grossman over the middle, almost intercepted by Ian Gould. Pass intended for Greg Olsen, the tight end.
And Ian Gould, he had the inside position, and he's the one that made the break on the ball. He's man-to-man locked up with Olsen, and that was just superlative on the part of Ian Gould. Look at that. That's just, boy, you don't see many linebackers that can cover one-on-one like that. Ian Gould, a small guy, but with great range and good feet.
Maynard now kick to Martinez. He's going to let this one go. It floats out of bounds.
Wow, that was horrible.
So that stops the clock with 48 seconds to play here in the first half as you look at some of the numbers on the day.
Well, take a look at that. Carson Palmer today, 3 touchdowns. Drew Brees, a lot of 3-touchdown days there.
No lack of 100-yard rushers either.
Yeah, there's a surprise. Smith from KC getting 150. Wow, Donald Driver with 10 receptions. Chad Johnson gets in the mix with 12 and 3 touchdowns. That's a monster day. That made somebody happy.
And all the highlights coming up on the Spread halftime report. 48 seconds to play. Cutler for Hall. Hall gets a block, cuts back, still on the move, and look out, midfield with a blocker in front of it. To the 20, 15, 10, out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Greg, that is the way you draw up a screen. That is highlight film material. Watch the blocks out in front by the lineman. Outstanding job. That is just quality work. And then downfield, Brandon Marshall. Look at him fight. Look at him fight. Just a tremendous job there by Brandon Marshall downfield. Boy, that's outstanding. He's running Daniel Manning all the way down the field.
65 yards on the play. Hall to about the 4. It'll be 2nd and goal, and the clock stops with a timeout and 25 seconds to play. .25 seconds to play in the half. Denver and Chicago 2 timeouts apiece. Denver with a 10-6 lead, knocking on the door at 2nd and goal from the 4. Andre Hall and Cecil Sapp in the background. Cutler going to throw, far side. Broken up by number 33, Charles Tillman.
Wow, at first it looked like Brandon Marshall was going to catch that for a touchdown. Tillman all alone working on Marshall. He doesn't know where the football is, but he does get his arm up there and kind of interrupts. Last minute, you see his right arm comes up. That was That was happen chance that his arm came up and just happened to deflect the football.
The arm got more facial helmet. 3rd and goal. Fake the pitch. Cutler rolling, looking, throwing, incomplete. Broken up in the end zone by Tillman.
Well, good job that time by the Bears of really getting over there and forcing Cutler to throw. I'll guarantee you, halfway through this, Jay Cutler thought he was going to be able to run in for a touchdown. Right there, he thinks he's going to score. But Danielle Manning was able to get over and convince him otherwise. And he had to throw back into traffic, and he was lucky that wasn't intercepted.
Now Elam from 22 yards out. And that's good. 3 trips to the red zone for Denver today, 2 field goals and a touchdown, and a 13-6 lead with 13 seconds to play.
Well, there's Hall, who had the perfectly executed screen. But kudos to the Chicago defense. After giving up the big play, they stood up. And Andre Hall's done a little bit of everything. Keep in mind, he's the 3rd choice here. Running right through tackles. Gets by Brian Urlacher. Here he comes on the option from Cutler. That ended up being a touchdown. He broke through the tackle of Archuleta. And then following behind the outstanding blocks of his lineman, he reverses his field, gets outside the Bear defense. And again, though, after giving up the big play, give some props to the Chicago defense. They didn't let Denver in the end zone. The best they could possibly do was allow a field goal, and Brian Urlacher's bunch did just that.
It could be worse.
Yeah. Oh, they made the best of a bad situation.
So 13 seconds to play, and once again, the buzz will begin as Hester takes his place deep to receive the kick.
Where does Mike Shanahan keep finding running backs that produce like this?
Yeah, running backs are us.
Well, he must have the hotlines. He must get to go shopping when nobody else is there.
Hester at his own 5-yard line. And this one is bounced along the ground and picked up at the 35-yard line by Rashid Davis. And 9 seconds remain here in the first half.
Well, take a look at that. That's where they come from. 6,000-yard rushers. 5 of them came through the draft, averaging 140.7. Reuben Drones was the only one who was undrafted. So that's how they do it. This guy wasn't even drafted. Andre Hall, an undrafted free agent.
And has had a fairly decent afternoon so far.
Worked his way off the practice squad.
9 seconds to play. Let's see what Grossman does. Over the middle. That one looked like it was tipped on the way by Kenny Peterson.
Kenny Peterson has had an active couple of minutes here.
He's had a terrific first half.
He had 2 big plays on Chicago's last drive.
And now with 5 seconds to play, this figures to be the last play of the half.
Well, air it out. See if maybe you can draw a penalty.
And this is Garrett Wolf straight up the middle, and he's got running room. But he runs right into a pack of Denver Broncos and is brought down inside the 30-yard line. And with that, the first half comes to an end.
Well, that padded the stats. That's about all.
The end of the first half, Denver 13, Chicago 6. Back with the Sprint halftime report after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Cutler, this time with the pitch to Andre Hall, to the 5, touchdown. Under pressure, and he goes down. Drave live, the cornerback came in untouched. Loose ball, Bears have it. Wally Ogunleye has the football, and a huge turnover. Did he say huge? Yes, he did. There have been some huge turnovers in this game. There's our halftime score. Denver leading the Bears 13-6, along with Dan Deerdorf, Greg Gumbel back at Soldier Field in Chicago, where the fact that the weather plays a role from here on out means that this game really could go either way.
Last time I checked, it's Soldier Field. It's after Thanksgiving, and you're right, the weather will almost always play a part in the game. I think the Bears are very fortunate, Greg, to only be down a touchdown. It could be a lot worse.
Let's take a look at the numbers, and again, all the focus on Rex Grossman. He's completed just one pass to a wide receiver today. And you see the points off turnovers there favoring Denver.
But look at Denver on third downs. They are 0 for 7. That's what I talk about, that it could be a lot worse. That's a remarkable stat. They haven't yet converted on third down.
Once again, the action, the NFL on CBS coming your way in high definition. The Broncos will get their hands on the football first. There's Glenn Martinez. And Robbie Gould set to kick it away. Denver tied with San Diego atop the AFC West. And Martinez from the 6. Takes it back of the other direction across the 20 to about the 21-yard line.
Well, let's check out the leaders. You can see Cutler, Hall, and Scheffler, the leading receiver. Of course, Andre Hall having to do the lion's share of the rushing, and Jay Cutler well below 50% passing. But again, that's not being able to convert a third down, a little tough.
And Cutler comes out throwing to the near side to Brandon Stokely, and that's complete. So Cutler starts off throwing the football, and neither team has really been able to establish anything solid in one way or another.
No, and I think a lot of it, well, first of all, I think the Chicago defense, other than a couple lapses on some big plays, has played pretty well. But again, this slick field in the rain is the biggest factor so far.
This is Hall. And Hall brought to a stop at about the 29.
We've seen a lot of slipping and sliding. We've seen guys trying to make upfield cuts where their feet slide out from under them. I don't think that you can be carrying the ball or setting up a block or doing anything without really concentrating on not taking a long stride, of keeping your feet underneath you. And as you can see, it's still coming down at a pretty good clip here.
Now the Bears looking for a third down stop here on 3rd and 3. Hall not going to get there. Stacked up by Wally Ogunleye.
Ogunleye was a yard or two across the line of scrimmage on the Denver side of the line of scrimmage. That's a play that's going absolutely nowhere when all Andre Hall has to look at is a 6'4", 270-pound defensive end.
And Devin Hester hasn't had much of a day today, but his 8 punt returns of 20 or more yards, #1 in the NFL, 5 of them 30 or more, #1 in the NFL.
Well, after slapping at that one and muffing it, he's been really cautious.
Look at a chance here from the 25. 40. Here he goes. Cuts it back, and he is gone. 10-5, touchdown, Devin Hester. "75 yards.
If you're going to punt to Devin Hester, you've got to pin him on a sideline. You can't kick it right down the middle of the field. He fields this directly in the center of the team, gets a good block, and then it's what Devin Hester does. Sauerbrunn just slipped and fell, and Hester hurdles him. But Sauerbrunn has got to try to pin him up against the sideline.
9th career kick return touchdown. Eclipses Gale Sayers' number. Gould's kick is good, and just like that, the Chicago Bears pull into a 13-13 tie. Devin Hester went up the runway and makes a return appearance. Charlie Casserly was talking about the number of returns for touchdowns being up this year. Josh Wilson returned one for Seattle against the Rams today, and Devin Hester just did it for 75 yards.
See, back in 03, they had 31. We've got 29, and this is just the 12th week of the season.
Oh, Hester may eclipse that today.
Yeah, he did. Again, though, Todd Sauerbrunn, you just can't launch a boomer right down the middle of the field to Devin Hester. That gives him too many options.
Gold's kick. Martinez pulls it in at the 6. 20. Spins, loose football. Who's got it? The Bears say they do. There is a penalty marker down at the 16-yard line.
That ball is changing hands down there, and somehow Denver gets it back. It sure looked like there were a lot of Bears around that loose football.
There is a penalty marker on the play.
Holding.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Sony, high definition. It's in Sony's DNA. And by Citi. Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it. Citi, let's get it done.
During the kickoff return, there was a holding at the 16-yard line against number 39 of the return team. That penalty took it half the distance to the goal. First down.
So there is the reason for the flag, and Denver is backed up to its own 8-yard line. And that's where they begin on offense. Andre Hall, Cecil Sapp in the backfield. Cutler calls the signal. 13-13 tie. Cutler to throw. This way, intercepted. Charles Tillman picks it off. And blown dead now. The receiver slipped, as they have so many times this afternoon. Well, and Cutler throws his 10th pick of the year.
That was Brandon Marshall trying to find his second-year receiver. And again, we see another mistake caused by the slippery conditions. Cutler is throwing to the spot. His receiver's on the ground. And what an outstanding job by Tillman of laying out. Again, a piece of the field comes up. Boy, and he got his arm underneath it. That was a legitimate INT. Well done.
From the 14-yard line, this is Peterson.
Well, Denver got fortunate when Glenn Martinez rather put the ball on the ground and they recovered it. And their good fortune did not last very long, and now the turnover battle has evened itself up.
Dan, you know that mantra about how when the conditions are slippery, the receiver has the advantage because he knows where he's going. That's assuming he can keep his feet.
Yeah, it didn't work out that way there, did it?
2nd and 9. Peterson again.
And he slipped.
And he's pulled down at the 11 by Dumerville and Sam Adams.
Peterson made a nice recovery. His foot slid all the way out from under him, and yet he didn't go down. Watch Peterson here after he takes the handoff. Watch his right there. Look how he slides. Able to get back up and pick up a couple positive yards after the fact.
3rd and 6 now. Devin Hester in the game as a wide receiver. Grossman on the draw. To about the 6-yard line, and it's blown dead there. Hamza Abdullah made the stop.
Well, we watched Chicago work on this a lot during practice Friday afternoon. Rex was pretty happy with himself that he was going to be able to run it into the end zone.
And the fans want the Bears and Lovie Smith to go for it.
Well, it was really a good tackle by Hamza Abdullah when he brought Rex Grossman down.
And they are going to go for it. Or at least Rex Grossman still on the field.
Well, Rex was asking for a new play clock. That ball came loose. How close was? Let's take one more. Ooh, Rex Grossman, I think, lost control of that football before he came down. That football was starting to come out.
And now the coaching staff, Mike Shanahan all the way down, just through the challenge flag.
Absolutely, because Denver recovered that ball. Denver recovered that football.
And Mike Shanahan ran all the way down to the 10-yard line.
Because I think Rex Grossman lost control of the football before he was down.
I think Mike Shanahan just said challenging the fact that the ball is down.
I think Rex Grossman lost control of the football.
Denver
it was loose.
Was challenging the ruling on the field that the runner was down by contact. We will review the play.
So Larry Nimmers will go under the hood, get dry for a moment. He'll take a look at this.
Right there, he loses the ball, and he's not down yet.
Larry Nimmers has made his decision.
After reviewing the play, the runner did fumble the football. And by rule, if the defense immediately recovers the ball, which they did at the 10-yard line, it'll be Denver's ball at the 10-yard line. Please put 11:08 on the game clock.
Hamza Abdullah is the man of the hour for the Denver Broncos.
Well, he made the tackle, and he also made the recovery. Now there's Abdullah. He doesn't strip the ball. Rex just loses it on his own. Now Abdullah's on the ground, but he's going to come right back up. Watch him here. There's 21 is Abdullah. He makes the tackle, slides along, but the ball's going to get just kicked right to him. So that, you know, the NFL has changed the rule, and even though there was a whistle, you play through it. And rightly so, Larry Nimmer gave the ball. He gives the ball to Denver.
Cutler and the Broncos at their own 10. Andre Hall for about 4 to the 14. And Alex Brown makes the stop. There's the turnover battle, and Chicago just contributed 1. And then you were right, Dan. The ball wasn't stripped. Grossman was just losing it on the way down.
Yeah, he lost it on his own. He had it. He had it, and he had it tucked up against his body, and somehow it just came loose.
A costly fumble marred what was otherwise an outstanding performance by Grossman last week. Cutler throws over the middle, and that is incomplete. Stokely says he caught it. The officials say otherwise.
Well, again, Jay Cutler has an open receiver and underthrows him. It happened a couple times in the first half. Did Stokely get under it?
Whoa. I think he
did. Whoa, I think Brandon Stokely, Mike Shanahan might want to get the red flag out again.
He's got it on the field.
What an effort by Brandon Stokely getting his hands under the football.
The challenge flag is down at the 15.
Denver is challenging the ruling on the field of the incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
Well, one more time as we go to commercial. Watch Brandon Stokely get his hand under the football. I don't think it ever touches the ground.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Budweiser. Reach for the perfect balance of flavor and refreshment. Budweiser, the great American lager. And by the Ridgeline from Honda. Strength meets intelligence.
The ball did hit the ground before the receiver got contact. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands. It is an incomplete pass. Denver
Larry Nimmer says the ball hit the ground, and we've been looking at replays, and we just don't see it.
I don't see what Larry saw. Watch Brandon Stokely on this angle. Watch him. Man, that just looks like a completed catch to me. Now this angle, because we're so low to the ground, but I think his right hand is under the ball. There we are zooming in on it. I think, man,
that sure looks like a good catch.
I agree with you, Greg. I don't know what Larry Nimmers was looking at.
So Denver now 3rd and 5. They are 0 for 8 in third down attempts today. Cutler for Hall. Make it 0 for 9.
And that is just really fine work by the Chicago defense of flowing to the football. Urlacher leads the charge. These guys really got to the ball in a hurry. Hall couldn't go anywhere with it. And again, Denver just can't move the chains.
Devin Hester at his own 40.
Yeah, that's the key, Greg. At his own 40. This could be really good field position for Chicago. At the least.
Returned one 75 yards his last try. Sauerbrunn. Dare him again.
Well, except he went to the sideline.
Oh, a fine special teams play by Dominique Foxworth. Hey, tonight on Cold Case, he was class valedictorian, good-looking, charming, popular. So why did every co-ed on campus want him dead? Find out. An all-new Cold Case tonight at 9, 8 Central Time here on CBS.
Greg, Sauerbrunn learned his lesson. He didn't boot it right down the middle of the field. He pinned Hester in on the sideline, and that is a handicap for any punt return.
Garrett Wolf is in the backfield now as Grossman sets up to throw and throws behind Muhsin Muhammad. It'll be 2nd and 10. We get an update from New York and James Brown. JB.
Hey, Greg, Dan said it earlier. Any score by Baltimore worth showing nationally. Play action by Kyle Bowler, hooking up with LeRon McClain. 13-yard score, capping an 11-play, 69-yard drive. 29-14. San Diego on the third. Dan, back to Greg Gumbel.
A veritable explosion by Baltimore. 2 touchdowns.
Here's Garrett Wolf. Wolf across the 40 to about the 42. San Diego winning, putting even more emphasis on a good performance by the Denver Broncos here today. The Chargers and Denver beginning the day tied at 5 and 5 atop the AFC West.
And we got both of these quarterbacks that are below 50% completion percentage. Jay Cutler only 8 of 20. And again, look at that, unable to convert a third down.
Neither team has a first down this quarter.
It's remarkable that they're tied in this game with a stat like that.
Grossman steps up, throws, coming across the middle, dropped. Rashid Davis.
Wow, we documented earlier about how many drops the Chicago Bears have had all season long. Can't do a whole lot better than Rex Grossman did right there, just putting it right on the hands.
Grossman 0 for his last 5, and on 4th down, Glenn Martinez back at his own 15-yard line. Let him go! Let him go! Martinez pulls it in. Retreats, finds a little bit running room, and then runs out of it just as he crosses the 15-yard line. Safety Hamza Abdullah has had himself a day for the Denver Broncos. We're tied at 13. There's Bears running back Cedric Benson. Suffered that ankle injury on sidelines on crutches. And we're told his return is questionable. I'd say it's a little more dubious than that. He ain't going to play anymore today. Meanwhile, the Broncos from their own 16. This is Andre Hall. Hall cuts it back. Out over the 25. That's enough for a first down.
Boy, look at the Bears go to strip that football. Hunter Hillenmeyer, he knows the tackle is taken care of. Watch at the end of this play. First of all, good work here by Andre Hall. Cutting it back against the grain. Excellent blocking. Now look right here. Hillenmeyer is just going for the football. He's trying to rip that thing out of there. This is a team that had 44 takeaways last year. Coming into today, they only had 17. Maybe the single biggest difference in their season.
Hall again. Bear defense appears to come out of the locker room here in the second half with a bit more of a purpose.
Well, we've got an injured Bronco. Looks like Montre Holland got up the right guard a little hobbled. He's going to stay in though. He's hurting.
Montre Holland, his 5th year out of Florida State, stays on for 2nd and 9.
That's what offensive linemen do.
Cutler rolling, throws, complete, and out to about the 38 is Brandon Stokely, and that's enough for another Denver first down.
Yeah, it's just a staple of the Denver offense. The boot after a play action, everybody goes to the right. Brian Urlacher, he just was one step behind, and again, he has to come up and defend Cutler. Normally in that situation in the past, Jay Cutler has delivered a low ball. That time it was just a little pitch and catch. And they moved the chain.
So a new set of downs for the Broncos. And the give is to Cecil Sapp. Sapp is whistled down at about the 42. 6.5 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter of a tie game. Andre Hall, good for 131 total yards today. I'd say he's doing his job.
And you see that time fullback Cecil Sapp got the carry. Ever since Mike Bell's fumble, he has not been seen other than on the sideline.
From the 42, the pitch for Hall. Squeezes through inside the 45 to about the 43-yard line where Danielle Manning makes the stop.
Well, and all of a sudden a couple good plays by the Denver offense, and they quickly get into Chicago territory. I love that little flip. It really takes the defense by surprise. It is more often than not you see that's the quickest way to break contain with that little pitch to the outside.
And maybe better than usual on a slippery day, Dan.
Yeah, just a little counter step gets everybody to take one step in that direction. Love it, love that play.
On first down, this is Sapp. And Sapp is stacked up at about the line of scrimmage by Lance Briggs with help from Alex Brown.
All this work is having to be done by the 3rd team guys for the Denver Broncos. Travis Henry, their lead running back, he's missing his 3rd game today in a row because of a knee injury. His backup, Selvin Young, because of a knee injury, he's out today. They're going deep in the depth chart.
Cutler throws, and that is caught at about the 25-yard line by Tony Scheffler, the tight end.
Well, there's a really good pass by Jay Cutler. Nobody's going to catch that except his guy. The inside release, working a one-on-one situation against a linebacker and keeping the ball low like that. Only Scheffler can go down and dig it out. Again, that was a really good throw by Jay Cutler. That is a hard assignment for Hunter Hillenmeyer to have to run and defend that inside release.
8th play of this drive, the pitch to Hall. Left side, 20, 15, 10, inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for the Broncos.
Well, I told you I love that play. Again, the one counter step, a quick defense like the Bears. See the counter step. Just look at Lance Briggs. Briggs goes 4 steps the other direction. Totally breaks contain. If it's not for Brian Urlacher and a lot of great hustle, that's an easy touchdown. Adam Archuleta just fell down.
1st and goal for the Broncos, 2.5 yards from the end zone. Andre Hall looking for a hole, doesn't find it. Stacked up at the 5, Lance Briggs, the first man in on it.
Well, that's just what you dream of as a defense on 1st and goal. Force them into negative yardage. Back them up a yard or two, and that's exactly what the Bears did there. I don't know if Lance Briggs is hurt or if he's cleaning grass out of his face mask or.
Briggs looked to be all right. Been bothered by a sore knee lately. Now Cecil Sapp and Kyle Johnson in the backfield. The pitch for Sapp. 5, leaps into the end zone for the touchdown.
Boy, did he get a good block by right tackle Eric Piers, who laid out Lance Briggs. Well, that's the best looking drive we've seen out of Denver all day.
10 plays, 84 yards. Sapp with his second rushing touchdown of the season. And the Broncos are back on top. Jason Elam to add the extra point. And it is good.
Well, they're getting outside on the Bears. Take a look on the right side. Oh, there's the block right there. That was Brandon Marshall. That was one of the 2 blocks. Brandon Marshall came back that time and hit a Gunlier. The Piers block was on the inside. Boy, that was nicely done by Brandon Marshall, who actually tied up 2 different guys on that touchdown run. He actually gets down on Charles Tillman. Right there, he comes in on Tillman, and then he comes back and gets a Gunlier. How about that? That is sensational work, blocking by a wide receiver. Of course, it's a big help as a wide receiver if you happen to be 6'4", 230.
You know, Dan, we did the Denver Broncos game 2 weeks ago when they beat Kansas City. And to a man, although we thought it was a pretty ugly game, but to a man, these Broncos feel that was a real turning point for this team.
Oh, absolutely. Because they had dug themselves such a hole. And now they envision themselves going on a run. And again, they're the beneficiary of being in the AFC West, where being 500 gives you a share of the lead. Finally looks like San Diego, if they go ahead and finish off Baltimore and get a win, they'll finally have a team in that conference that's got a winning record.
And Denver bidding to do the same with a win here today. 2:38 to play in the third. Denver on top, 20-13.
Well, do you kick to Hester? Yeah, you do.
Devin Hester from the 12. 30.
I don't get it.
40.
I don't get it.
This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
I don't get Sauerbrunn kicking it again right down the middle of the field.
88 yards.
Are your memories that short? It wasn't that long ago. He ran a punt back for a touchdown. Well, some things defy description. If anybody out there knows why Denver decides to kick right down the middle of the field to Devin Hester, write me a letter, will you?
He adds to his Chicago Bears record, 10th career return touchdown. Robbie Gould. And just like that, we're tied again.
How exciting is Devin Hester? But again, you give the guy all sorts of options right in the middle of the field. Boy, he gets good blocking. Take a look at that. I think right there, a Bronco might have gotten a finger on an ankle. Other than that, Devin Hester goes right through the coverage. Look at that hole. What a breakdown by the Broncos.
Todd Sauerbrunn has had 2 of the worst looks at Devin Hester today from the ground, looking up as Hester went by him.
And a great look at Devin Hester, who I think is watching himself on the video board in the end zone. That must be fun. I would be looking for a new strategy on kickoffs and punts.
Darren Sproles returned a punt and a kickoff for a touchdown in the same game earlier this season. Devin Hester has done the same here today.
I'll tell you, it is so frustrating. You work, you put together such a good drive like the Broncos did. You work your way down the field, one good play after another, and poof, it's equalized in about 10 seconds.
And then you kick to him. So now Glenn Martinez is deep for Denver.
Special teams can turn a football game around in a hurry. Ball fell off the tee.
When Devin Hester is around, you just can't take a breath.
Now you see why Chicago's working him into the lineup as a wide receiver. You want the ball in that guy's hands as many times. Oh, there it goes off the tee again. I mean, why wouldn't you want to get the ball to Devin Hester as many times as possible? I mean, this is a guy you throw short little screens to, little flare passes. This is a guy that you'd love to get 15 touches a game.
So Trumaine McBride is now going to hold the ball for goal.
Now Martinez had a punt return for a touchdown last week, so this guy can do it too.
Martinez on the run at the 14. Out across the 30 to about the 32. 228 return yards for Devin Hester today. Didn't start out real well, Dan.
No, he muffed it right there and gave the ball to Denver. They recovered that. But this is how you make amends. The punt return, broke a tackle. Again, he's got blockers out in front. 75 yards. And then here we go on a kickoff return. Again, right in the middle of the field. And that one, he didn't have to break a tackle. He was untouched all the way to the end zone.
Todd Sauerbrunn has had a really good view of the bottom of Devin Hester's shoes today. Cutler on first down. Going to go deep for Marshall. On the button to the 5 and the end zone for a touchdown.
Oh, boy. Ricky Manning Jr.
You know, not that there have been any big plays here today.
Well, I just said you work and work and work, and then you give it up in 10 seconds. That is the big play possibilities we've been talking about with this exciting kid from Central Florida. Last time we saw him, he was blocking for the touchdown run by Cecil Sapp. Now he gets his moment in the sun.
68 yards. The extra point is good. Jay Cutler told us Brandon makes life easier.
Well, he's locked up one-on-one with Ricky Manning Jr. He makes the little fake post move and then the speed, and I think Ricky Manning just didn't realize that a guy 6'4", 230 could run by him like that. You can get mesmerized by how big a guy is. Boy, and that's a lot of fun. Matt Lepp says that's your reward for blocking really well. You get slapped by your own quarterback.
First 8 games of the year, Jay Cutler, 5.5 yards.
43.8. Big plays. That is what has propelled Denver to this winning streak.
3 touchdowns in the last 27 seconds here at Soldier Field.
Let's discuss something, Greg. What's this guy going to do now, Mr. Sauerbrunn? I've got some suggestions, and none of them involve getting the ball anywhere near Devin Hester.
We may well see this one go out of bounds right around the 30-yard line.
Oh, that's punitive, but yeah, Devin Hester, he's feeling it. You've got to run the risk of putting it out of bounds by trying to pin him up against the sideline. Do not kick it right between the hash marks.
Here's Sauerbrunn. Ground ball to short. At about the 31-yard line, and this is Rashid Davis, and Davis brings it out to midfield.
So even without touching the football, Devin Hester gives the Bears the ball at midfield. That's when you're really worth something. Without even touching the ball, you give your team that kind of field position.
And if you're the Denver Broncos, at least you're not lining up now for the extra point.
And that is a nice turn of events. That's a change of pace.
Denver 27 and the Bears 20. 2:05 to play here in the third, and Garrett Wolf is in at running back for the Bears. Grossman back to work. Gonna throw. Incomplete. Wolf out of the backfield was hit as he was throwing the ball, and Grossman looks at 2nd and 10.
Yeah, under a lot of pressure. Big Sam Adams was back there. And when I say big, I mean big.
Listed at 6'3", 350, and that's only if you believe that number.
He blew by 350. I guarantee you he passed 350 on Thanksgiving. A turkey went down on Thanksgiving.
2nd and 10. This is Wolf on the draw. And he's wrapped up at around the 47-yard line. Now, Elvis Dumervil in on the tackle. We haven't had much chance to talk about Elvis Dumervil, who is truly one of the unique defensive ends in football, Dan.
Well, he's so short. Imagine a defensive end under 6 feet tall. And check that out. Devin Hester, 228 yards. The entire Bears offense, $160.
3rd and 8 now. Grossman on the move. Penalty marker is down. Now he throws down the sideline. It's incomplete. Bears have failed to register a first down this quarter, which has 1:18 to go.
And yet they've scored 2 touchdowns.
Personal foul. 15-yard face mask on the offense, number 69. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 3rd down.
That's Fred Miller, the right tackle.
Well, we saw Fred Miller earlier in the game. He was having an issue with Elvis Dumervil. And again, that is a...
Now they're going to refuse the penalty and force the Bears to kick it away.
Right.
Chicago Bears have registered 12 total yards this quarter. Martinez back. Fair catch called for and made at about the 11-yard line. Hey, next Sunday, the NFL on CBS, regional action. Maurice Jones-Drew and those Jacksonville Jaguars against Peyton Manning and the Colts. Meanwhile, the Chargers battle the Chiefs. Dan and I will be out in Arizona as the Cardinals host the Cleveland Browns. Check your local listings. It all begins with JV, Dan, Coach, Shannon, and Boomer on the NFL Today. More people watch NFL games on CBS than any other network.
Greg, here's the Devin Hester factor. Even without a first down by the Chicago offense, they make the Denver Broncos look at 90 yards for a touchdown.
The short kick, the defense holds, and then the good punt.
Normally, you got to get a couple first downs to force the other team into this kind of field position.
This is Andre Hall looking for running room out over the 10 to about the 13 or 14-yard line. 1 minute to play here in the third quarter.
Well, we have seen some excitement from some young players. Devin Hester in his second year. Last Denver possession, we saw Brandon Marshall, just a second-year player. A lot of exciting young talent on display here this afternoon.
How about Andre Hall, 102 yards on 21 carries today. That doesn't count what he's done through the air.
In his first career start.
2nd and 7. Cutler tipped, incomplete. Urlacher was lurking.
He was lurking, all right. He was lurking, working, and almost had an INT. What instincts Brian Urlacher has. Ball almost got tipped at line of scrimmage by Sam Adams, and then it was Urlacher when it got to the second level. Anthony Adams, rather. We got too many Adams wearing 95 here.
Second time today, Urlacher has gotten his hand on a pass. 3rd and 7. Cutler on the move, looking, throws, near side. Stokely trying to roll forward past the first down marker, and he got it.
Wow, there's their first 3rd down conversion of the football game. And Jay Cutler makes it happen by getting out of the pocket. Stokely a little chip block, and then he just falls off out into the flat. Oh, he did a good job of staying in bounds. Almost stepped out, but he didn't.
We come to the end of 3 here at Soldier Field. Denver leading the Bears 27-20. We're back after this message and a word from your local station. This is the NFL on CBS. Welcome back to Soldier Field in Chicago for the start of the 4th quarter, along with Dan Deerdorf and the rest of our CBS Sports crew. Greg Gumbel doubleheader day here on CBS. The Denver Broncos leading the Bears 27-20. Devin Hester has been something else today.
This has been a big play Sunday afternoon here in Chicago.
Cutler and the Broncos, first down now, their own 23-yard line. Quick pass out to the near side, Stokely. Across the 30 and out to about the 33-yard line.
Well, we've had a little bit of everything here this afternoon. Cedric Benson injures his leg. He is out of this game. We've had 5 turnovers. A cold rain has been falling all day. But Devin Hester, a kickoff return for a touchdown, a punt return for a touchdown. And the last big play was by Brandon Marshall to give Denver this lead.
Devin is heaven when he touches the football.
Aren't you smooth?
Poetic, if nothing else. On 2nd and 1, Andre Hall looking for a first down and got it out to the 34-yard line.
And how impressed are you with Andre Hall, Greg? I mean, really. This guy spent last year on the practice squad. He started here in Chicago last year with the Bears, went through training camp, just bouncing around trying to find a home.
Dan, we know better than to trivialize it, but the fact is this Denver system is so refined and so fine-tuned, it feels like most anybody can start in that backfield and get 100 yards on the ground.
Yes, but you know it's not that easy.
Right.
You don't in any way want to take away from what Andre Hall's accomplished this afternoon, but you're right.
On first down, Cutler going to throw it a mile downfield. Oh, pulled in by Tony Scheffler.
Oh, and pulled in by Scheffler when I thought Archuleta interfered with it. It looked like Adam Archuleta grabbed him before the ball got there. Now this is a safety locked up on a tight end. You'd think, right there. I mean, that's blatant interference. What? Look at him grab him. He grabs his arms, he grabs his chest, and Scheffler still catches it.
15 yards further back, he had a handful of jersey.
Yeah.
All the way to the 25-yard line, a 41-yard play, first down Denver. The give is to Sapp.
Look at him
Sapp continues to push the line.
Ooh, that's one that, as a defense, you hate to see that. Yeah, that really makes you angry. Cecil Sapp just with leg drive drags 3 or 4 Chicago Bears with him for another couple of yards.
5 yards in all, 2nd and 5. And Denver, in addition to finding the end zone again, interested in taking a little time off the clock. And Jay Cutler wants a timeout here. Denver uses its 2nd timeout in the half. 27-20 Broncos will be back. 237 total yards this half for Denver to 8 for the Bears, yet the Bears were only a touchdown back. 2nd and 5 for Cutler and the Broncos. Pass to this side, Brandon Marshall. Oh, look at the move, and slips as he reaches the 15-yard line, but that looks like it'll be enough for a first down. A look at the AFC playoff picture. New England clinched by virtue of a Buffalo loss earlier today. San Diego is leading Baltimore 32-14. Pretty close to chalking up win number 6 of the season for them.
Check out the wild card picture, both Jacksonville and Cleveland. Jacksonville, that's a good looking 8-3 record. They still maintain they're only one game behind Indianapolis there in the division.
First down, Denver. The give is to Andre Hall, and one, maybe two.
Andre Hall, the ball carrier.
At the most.
Greg, the one thing about Jacksonville, they're thinking about winning their division. They're the leader in the wild card because Indianapolis at this time is the division leader. I'll guarantee the Jags are thinking about winning that division.
Brandon Marshall back onto the field.
Again, he's a long strider, and when he cut back in on that little wide receiver screen, he just took too long a stride and lost his footing. He's got to shorten things up when you're making those kind of cuts.
To the end zone. Did he come down with that? Oh, what a catch by Tony Scheffler. He might have been horizontal when he caught that ball. There's a penalty marker down.
Well, how?
Penalty marker is in the end zone after the play.
This might have had to do with a celebration, or I'm not sure what. What a laser by Jay Cutler.
So Larry Nemmer is still getting it straight with his crew.
Okay, watch Scheffler. He's on the outside. He gets a release. Again, working against Manning. Manning's locked up one-on-one. Oh, he gets a carom that comes right to him. The ball rolls down his midsection and never does touch the ground. We'll take another look at it, but at first blush, look at him get his arm up there. There's the ball between his legs, and he rolls over and picks it up before it touches the ground. That is some piece of work by Tony Scheffler with a dash of good fortune mixed in.
Here's Larry Nemmers.
After the touchdown, unsportsmanlike conduct on the defense, number 54, for taunting, kicking the football. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
The look on Brian Urlacher said, yep, I'll buy that.
Well, I don't know where he kicked the football to. I don't know what direction he.
For the third straight drive, the Denver Broncos finish with a touchdown, and Elam trying to make it a 34-20 lead. Drives of 84, 68, 89 yards. And the Broncos have grabbed control with 10:38 to play in the fourth quarter here in Chicago.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with K. MasterCard. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. And by Sprint, proud sponsors and avid fans of the NFL.
Watch Brian Urlacher come in from the right. Brandon Marshall's trying to pick up the ball, and Urlacher kicks it and kicks Marshall right in the hand, drawing the penalty. And the significance of this penalty is now with the 15 yards closer for the Broncos, it may take Devin Hester out of a kickoff return. That could be a very costly penalty, and it might remove Hester.
Todd Sauerbrunn is going to tee this one up at his own 45-yard line.
With his leg, you'd think there's no way that he's not going to drive this through the end zone.
And the ball just won't stay on the tee today.
Sauerbrunn has got a massive leg when it comes to kicking off. And what wind there is appears to be at his back.
So Sauerbrunn set to kick it away, and he bounces it. I don't get it. This is John Gilmore. I want to remind you tonight on CBS, you're worried about credit card theft this holiday season? You can't afford to miss 60 Minutes. Plus, the Eagles in a rare interview, followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Shark. That's all tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. Welcome to the Hotel California, Dan.
Love it, love it, love it. Huge Eagles fan.
Adrian Peterson in the backfield. Grossman back throws off of the hands of his intended receiver, Desmond Clark. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, one of the best cover linebackers, Ian Gold, he was right there.
Grossman just 7 of 20 today for 85 yards.
And 1 pick.
On 2nd and 10, Grossman over the middle, and that one is complete to Musa Muhammad out to the 40-yard line, and that's enough for a first down. And the Bears down 14 points with 10:15 to play. Had a little bit of urgency to their step.
Well, they better realize the dire circumstance that they find themselves in, because if they lose this game, I think realistically their chances of making the playoffs are long gone.
Grossman throws Peterson, and Peterson is run down before he gets to the 40-yard line. And the clock continues to move. 9:45, and a look at the NFC playoff picture, which does not include the Chicago Bears.
Well, because they've got a 4-6 record, and this, if they pick up their 7th loss today, when you look at all those teams that are in the hunt, chasing the Giants in Detroit for a wild card spot, a lot of guys at 500, 3 teams at 5 and 6. I don't see where the Bears have a prayer. If that doesn't give you a little sense of urgency, I don't know what will.
Well, Lovie Smith knows it too. He told his team, this is our playoff. Grossman lost the football. Who's got it at the 35? The Broncos say they do.
And they do.
And the officials agree. Tim Crowder made the hit that caused the fumble. 4th turnover of the day. And Ian Gold recovered.
Well, Rex Grossman again having to leave the pocket, and the right hand, you could see the right hand of Crowder comes right in, goes right on the football, and it just squirts right out of Grossman's arms. Now the rookie from Texas will have a little something to remember there.
For the Bears, it seems just a few short months ago in the Super Bowl, it has been a long fall.
Oh, that must seem like so long ago.
Oh, the pitch to Andre Hall, and right there with him was Mark Anderson.
Well, fool me once, fool me twice. This is how you play that. As a defensive end, you don't honor the counter step the other way. You head straight upfield, and that's what Mark Anderson did there.
We saw Mark Anderson overcompensate a couple of times before, not this time.
He chased the other times. That time, he kept containing, went straight upfield.
2nd and 18. Clock continues to move. 8.5 to play here in the 4th. Cecil Sapp straight ahead to about the 41. Jay Cutler has recovered nicely from the slow start. Grossman has not.
No, a 35 rating, 9 of 22. He's got 1 interception, 1 lost fumble. Pretty much a tremendously disappointing afternoon at home for Rex Grossman. They are 1-3 at the moment at home, unable to protect their kingdom here at Soldier Field.
Now Cutler from the shot zone on 3rd and 15, going to be on the move. Going to throw back the other way. Marshall overthrown.
Jay's going, did I really just do that?
Well, he has some gun.
Well, in that case, just a little too much gun. Brandon Marshall was open. Again, that ball just floated on Jay Cutler. Again, though, this is only his 16th start. Every game he seems to get a little better. The team appears to have more confidence in him. And those are the things that Mike Shanahan's looking for.
Devin Hester at his 10. What does Todd do?
Well, he could put this in the end zone from there.
Penalty marker is down. And this is going to bounce inside the 10-yard line and then die right at the 10, but let's check the flag.
If this is against Denver, Chicago will make them re-kick it. Yeah, they'll make them do this again.
This is the kind of wall that the Bears have been staring at, Dan. Not only did they have this game today, but they have the Giants, Washington, Minnesota, Green Bay, and New
Illegal
Orleans.
formation on the kicking team. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. That 5 yards will be assessed from the previous spot. Repeat, 4th down.
They would have the option of tacking it on at the end, but pinned back at their own 10-yard line. They want to give Hester a chance, and that's a smart move by Chicago. Force another kick. Maybe Sauerbrunn will make a mistake and let Devin Hester do something with it.
I don't think you're allowed that many mistakes in a day.
How long we've been doing this, Greg?
That's right.
You should know better.
Blocked by Tillman. The Bears looking to fall on it. And they have it, and it comes to rest. It's actually going to be spotted at about the 18-yard line. Brandon McGowan recovered it. Number 33, Charles Tillman, was in for the block.
Well, Devin Hester didn't have anything to do with this. And another big mistake by the Denver punting unit. Sauerbrunn aiming it to the right, doesn't see Tillman coming, and kicks it right into him. If Sauerbrunn is kicking another direction, that doesn't get blocked. He turns and boots it right into Tillman's chest.
Grossman gives to Peterson, and Peterson, still on his feet, powers to about the 15-yard line. Todd Sauerbrunn is not exactly having a dream day for a kicker, is he?
No, he is not.
Welcome to those of you just joining us at Soldier Field in Chicago. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, the Bears in 2nd and 7. The pass is complete to Greg Olsen, and Olsen to the 5-yard line, and the Bears have a 1st and goal. 6.5 minutes to play. They need 2 touchdowns to tie.
And they've got a chance to make it a 1-possession game. They got their number 1 draft choice, Olsen, involved there. And boy, the special teams on both sides of the aisle today have been playing huge parts in this game. Todd Sauerbrunn, I'm sure, is in a state of stunned disbelief.
1st and goal now. Grossman flips it out here. John Gilmore tripped up and down at 4.
Well, he just slips and falls again. This field is wet. It has been raining all day. And as we have seen countless times, if you put the instep on the ground, you are going down. You've got to keep shorter, choppier steps, your feet underneath you. We have seen that a lot today.
2nd and goal. Peterson straight ahead. Still on his feet. Moving toward the goal line.
Well, that was some scrum right there.
No call yet. Touchdown.
Well, that's the closest thing to a rugby scrum I have seen in a long time. This is a wonderful surge by the guy in the blue shirts. And I think the officials were right not to blow the whistle, calling forward progress, because inside you could see the lake still churning, and Adrian Peterson really did keep it moving into the end zone for a touchdown.
Sauerbrunn gets the punt block. The Bears score. 5:17 to play in the 4th. Don't count them out yet. 34-27 Broncos. Tonight on CBS, worried about credit card theft this holiday season? You can't afford to miss 60 Minutes. Plus, the Eagles in a rare interview. And then new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Shark. That's all tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. Adrian Peterson, what an impressive 4-yard touchdown. There's the timeout situation. Plenty of time. Robbie Gould kicks. Martinez on the run at the 16-yard line to the 30 and bumped out of bounds on the far side of the field. 5:13 to play. Plenty of football still to be hashed out here at Soldier Field.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Cadillac, introducing the all-new 2008 Cadillac CTS, and by Burger King, who remind you to have it your way.
5 minutes, 13 seconds to play here in the 4th quarter. Devin Hester has been a one-man wrecking crew. Darren Sproles is the other player. In fact, he did it this season for the Chargers against Indianapolis. On 1st down, Andre Hall running the right side, and not much there as he gets it out over the 30-yard line to about the 32.
And waiting for him, Brian Urlacher. Well, Jay Cutler, this is an opportunity to take a big step. Can you engineer a drive here that'll play keep away and protect your 1 touchdown lead?
On 2nd and 7. Brandon Marshall with the catch and a 1st down. And welcome to those of you who watch San Diego knock off the Baltimore Ravens 32-14. They take the lead at 6-5 in the AFC West. Denver trying to keep pace here. They lead 34-27 against a Chicago Bear team that has sputtered a bit on offense, but they have Devin Hester on their side.
He's returned a kickoff for a touchdown, a punt for a touchdown.
And they are within a touchdown. 4 minutes to play.
Considering they have 33 yards of total offense here in the 2nd half.
On 1st down, Andre Hall, right side, caught from behind by Danielle Manning. No gain on the play.
We saw Denver move the chains. We've got a timeout called on the field. The Bears took a timeout. That's their first one. They've still got 2 left.
Lovie Smith told his team this week, this is our playoff. We need to win 6 straight.
I was going to say, he told them that this week. He's going to tell them that next week. If they win. If they lose this game, I'm not sure what Lovie's going to tell them when they come in tomorrow.
Meanwhile, Mike Shanahan would like to see his club continue on a roll that began a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City. They beat the Chiefs 27-11 and then beat Tennessee by the 34-20 score on Monday night. And Denver having to go on the road on a short week.
Well, and Denver looking at their last 6 games, 4 of them on the road. That is that's a lot to ask. It's a tough way to close out the season. 4 out of the final 6 away from Mile High.
Rex Grossman on the sideline hoping for a shot. On 2nd and 10, they give this to Cecil Sapp. And Anthony Adams in for the stop. 3rd and 10.
And I believe Chicago takes another timeout to stop the clock.
And each team now with 1 timeout remaining.
Well, here's a little bit of what's happened earlier. Devin Hester, again, the first time around, a punt return. And look at that. He just goes right down the middle. Brandon Marshall, the big play. And then Scheffler in the end zone. Watch this catch. The ball caroms around, goes between his legs, rolls up his midsection, never does touch the ground. And this game has seen more than its fair share of big plays.
Other than that, nothing much has happened here in Chicago today.
Not a whole lot. An unheralded guy like Andre Hall. He's tickling 100 yards. He's got 98 for Denver. How important is this 3rd down?
Denver not terrific on 3rd down conversions today, but they haven't needed them yet. Cutler wrapped up by Wally Ogunleye.
Ogunleye goes right around Eric Pierce, the right tackle. And I don't know, that play looked bizarre. I'm not sure. Jay Cutler kind of came out with that his blind side, and man, no chance of getting away from Ogunleye.
Bears blocked a Todd Sauerbrunn punt attempt last time. Devin Hester back at his own 25. They aren't coming after him now. They drop back to block for Hester.
They're going to set up a wall in front of Hester. They've got 4 guys deep in front of him.
And Denver says timeout. This doesn't look good at all. Broncos use their last timeout with 3:07 to play here in the 4th.
That was a really different looking punt return formation. Almost looked like they were setting up a wedge a la a kickoff return. Again, though, let's just assume that Chicago gets the ball in relatively decent field position. They've got to do something with it, which they haven't done this entire half. They've not moved the football at all. So if Chicago is going to have a decent drive to tie this game, it'll be out of the norm from what they've shown so far in this 2nd half.
Bears have 1 timeout remaining. Denver has just used their last one. And it'll be interesting to see just how the Bears handle this now.
Well, we'll see if they drop back into that same formation or if they've got something else working.
So for the moment, Hester is back by himself. And maybe let's see if the Bears go after Sauerbrunn. Nope.
There they go. 4 of them peel back. Well, you could run a fake punt with only a couple guys on the line of scrimmage.
Sauerbrunn falls on the slip. It hit Hester, and he dove on the football at about the 33-yard line.
That's the 2nd time that Devin Hester has had a loose ball on the ground, a free ball. The first time in the first half, he wasn't able to cover it, and Denver recovered. That time he was. Right off
Short
his
hops
shin.
him in the shin, and then he falls on it. So here's where we are. The Bears at their own 35, 2 minutes and 58 seconds from what effectively would end their season and their playoff hopes. Shaky snap. Devin Hester trying to break free and is out of bounds at about the line of scrimmage.
Boy, that's snap from Olin Kreutz. That came back there a little bizarrely, did it not? Look at this thing.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
Well, luckily for Rex Grossman, the snap kind of took him that direction towards Devin Hester, his intended target, all the way.
2nd and 10. Grossman throws. Olsen couldn't bring it in. 3rd and 10.
Well, that was a good throw by Rex Grossman. He threw it to the outside and he put it right where it was catchable. Devin Hester back in the offensive huddle. Why not? Do whatever you have to do to get this guy the football.
Third and 10 for Chicago. Grossman with time, throws off the hands of Olsen.
Well, twice now the #1 draft choice on back-to-back plays, not able to catch the ball. And again, Rex Grossman, this looked like a pretty good pass. Ian Gold slips down. Well, that wasn't as good as it looked like at first blush. That thing was high and outside. It was, you know, it's a ball that could have been caught, but it wasn't nearly as good as I thought so.
It has been a real problem for the Bears today. Dropped passes. 4th and 10. Grossman with time, gonna go deep, has a man open. Penalty marker flies. It is incomplete, but let's check the penalty. Muhsin Muhammad covered by Dre Bly.
Well, this will almost certainly, you think, be a penalty against Bly.
Illegal contact, defense number 32. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The Bears stay alive.
On a 4th down, obviously a monster penalty. And you can see Dre Bly just got a hand on the shoulder pads and gave Muhammad a shove at about the 15-yard mark. You know, he didn't have to do that. It wasn't, I don't think at the time, like he thought he was going to get beat deep. He just got handsy at the wrong time.
Handsy?
Yeah, that's an old football term. You got handsy, you get footsie.
First down at the 40. 2:35 to play. Grossman, quick pass. That's complete to Bernard Berrien, who has been pretty quiet today. Last week, a career-high 9 catches for 102 yards against Seattle. That's his 2nd catch today. Looking for the first down now. Peterson not going to get it. Wrapped up by Kenny Peterson. Adrian Peterson wrapped up by Kenny Peterson, and we'll go to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play in Chicago. Denver in the lead. We'll be right back. Tonight on CBS, are you worried about credit card theft this holiday season? Can't afford to miss 60 Minutes, and it's the Eagles, Dan. The Eagles in a rare interview. And then new episodes of The Amazing Rays, Cold Case, and Shark. Tonight on CBS, America's most watched network. Jay Cutler looking on from the sideline. 2 minutes to play. The Bears looking at 3rd and 2. Looking for the touchdown drive, keep their season alive. Grossman throwing outside, got his man. Inside the 35 to the 31 is Rashid Davis for a first down.
Oh, good pass protection up front. That's about the best looking pocket that Rex Grossman has had all day. A double line stunt by Denver, picked up cleanly.
21-yard gain. Grossman throws. That one's complete inside the 20 to Muhsin Muhammad. 1.5 minutes to play. Plenty of time for the Bears. First down at the Denver 18. Adrian Peterson, big hole up the middle to the 10 to the 7. It'll be 1st and goal.
That's one of those plays, if it goes for no yardage, the crowd boos something terrible. And now, listen, a standing ovation for that call.
Grossman on 1st and goal. Peterson again to the 5 and rolls forward to the 4. Hamza Abdullah.
And we saw Rex Grossman working on a quarterback draw all day on Friday.
And he's already run it once in this game. On 2nd and goal, Peterson straight ahead to the 3. And do the Bears use their timeout here? They do. They use their last timeout and stop the clock with 36 seconds to play.
Well, we can't emphasize enough how much this means to the Chicago Bears. Let's face it, in the AFC West, Denver could lose this game today and still end up winning their division. The Bears do not have that luxury. With the way things are in the NFC, they would fall to 4-7, Lovie Smith's group would, if they lost this game today. And I think that unrealistic to think they'd win their final 5 games to go 9-7.
Dan, they are 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line. They've tried Adrian Peterson on the ground a couple of times. You would think Grossman's going to go back to throwing the football here with no timeouts in their pocket. Although, as you said, they worked awfully hard on that quarterback draw the other day.
But you need an empty middle for that, and Denver's there.
Quick pass on the slant, incomplete at the goal line.
Oh, what kind of pass defense was that? That was spectacular. Was that Carl Pema?
It was.
Carl Pema, watch this. Fights for the inside, gets up there, gets in the arms, and knocks that ball away from Berrien.
And we come down to this. 4th and goal from the 3.
Now, I think Rex Grossman would have liked to have thrown that ball a little lower.
12th play of a drive that has lasted almost 2.5 minutes, and here we go. Grossman, pump fake, throws. Is that catch or no? Touchdown. Bernard Berrien. The Broncos are raising a fuss on this side, and we can't wait to see the replay.
Well, this will almost certainly be looked at by the replay booth. They've got to buzz this thing and stop this until they get a really good look at this. Because we're talking about possession.
We will review the last play in the end zone.
Yeah, Larry Nemmer says we will review this.
Coming right at you.
Possession is going to be critical. There's the elbow. His elbow looked to me like it landed out of bounds. The question is his knee down inbounds first with possession? I think it is. I think it is.
I don't think there's any question of whether Bernard Berrien lost possession. He had a good clamp on the football.
And I think that he has possession right there, and when his knee goes down inbounds, that's it. I think that was really correctly ruled by the officiating crew. I think that's a touchdown. I think that's that right there is a touchdown, and that ball never squiggles one little bit in the hands of Bernard Berrien. What a sensational play. Look at the quality of that play.
With 28 seconds on the clock, out of timeouts, out of downs. A terrific throw by Grossman, a tremendous looking catch by Bernard Berrien.
Well, you know how hard it is to control the football in your hands like that?
And you're right, Dan, even the slightest little wiggle would have meant no possession. Larry Nemmers is still looking.
No, he's still looking, but it sure looked to me like the ball was firmly clamped in the hands of Berrien when his knee touches down. Now, Champ Bailey, the defender on the play, he's hoping, I think, against hope.
If this stands up, the Bears will have scored 2 touchdowns in under 5 minutes.
Well, if this stands up, that's one of the prettiest touchdown catches you'll ever see.
Here comes Larry Nemmers.
Keep in mind, the call on the field was touchdown.
There could be a lot of noise here.
After reviewing the play, the receiver controlled the football with both hands with his knee in bounds. Therefore, the ruling on the field stands on a touchdown.
Well, Larry Nemmers saw what we saw. And kudos to the 2 officials on the field.
So now Robbie Gould needs to convert the extra point to tie this game at 34. Maynard will hold. It's good.
Well, that was some comeback we just witnessed by the Chicago Bears. They showed some real grit in doing this. Well, let's bring you up to date on what's happened in this game. First of all, Cedric Benson in the first half injured his foot. He has not returned. Devin Hester has a punt return and a kickoff return. Tony Scheffler gave the Broncos a 2-touchdown lead. Adrian Peterson with tremendous leg drive. Look at him move the pile to get in. And then finally, Bernard Berrien. How special of a catch is that? How special? You won't see a prettier catch than that in a long time.
And not a bad throw either from Rex Grossman. Where it had to be. We are tied at 34 with 28 seconds to play.
Well, finally, Chicago showed in the last 4:49 the urgency that they're feeling. Lose and you're gone.
These teams have played 12 times. Each has won 6. Denver making its first visit to Soldier Field since 1993. Here's Glenn Martinez from the 12. Cuts back inside across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. A reminder, tonight here on CBS, if you're worried about credit card theft this holiday season, you can't afford to miss 60 Minutes and the Eagles in a rare interview. That's followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Shark tonight here on CBS, America's most watched network. Jay Cutler getting some words from Mike Shanahan. He has 21 seconds on the clock. He's at his own 33-yard line.
And he has no timeouts.
Big play, guys. He hit Brandon Stokely for 48 yards against Tennessee. He hit Brandon Stokely and then Brandon Marshall for 41. Draw play. Sapp. And Sapp to the 44, and that's enough for a first down. Clock continues to move. 10 seconds to play.
They get up there and spike the ball.
And Cutler does and stops the clock with 4 minutes, and there's a penalty mark. Were the Broncos all settled before the snap?
Well, if not, they'll run off the time, and that'll be the end of it. We'll go to OT.
The player that was illegally in motion was not set. That results in a false start. By rule, it results in a 10-second runoff. Therefore, the game is over. We'll toss the coin for overtime.
That is the end of regulation. And Mike Shanahan and the Broncos, Lovie Smith and the Bears will start all over in OT.
Boy, we talked earlier about Mike Shanahan, a Chicago native. The first time he's brought a team into Soldier Field as a head coach, giving the fans their money's worth.
Mike Shanahan said he had a bunch of relatives and friends here. Everyone made the trip except his dad, Ed. He said he wasn't up to it, but he was sure he'd be watching at home, and I'm sure Ed has had a few palpitations over the last couple of minutes.
Well, this would be critical for the Bears, I think, to win this coin toss. if for no other reason than to let Devin Hester get back there and be the first guy to touch the ball in overtime.
And then the pressure is on Todd Sauerbrunn.
In the National Football League, first team to score in overtime is the winner. All rules and timing in the fourth quarter apply. All replays will be handled by the booth in the press box. Each team gets 2 timeouts. Denver will call the toss. Tails, heads. Heads is called. It's tails. Chicago.
The Denver Broncos have to kick to number 23 when we come back. Tied at 34 at Soldier Field. Overtime begins right after this. Greg Gumbel, Dan Deerdorf, Soldier Field in Chicago. Dan, you just said it during the timeout. It's time for Denver to pick their poison. Do you kick to Devin Hester, who has returned 2 kicks for touchdowns today, or do you kick something out of bounds and risk giving them tremendous field position?
Or do you kick a little worm burner, which they've done before, and Chicago started at the 50-yard line? I know one thing. You do not kick it high and away right down the middle of the field. That is unacceptable.
Number 23 awaits.
If you kick it deep, it's got to be between the numbers and the sideline to try to pin him in, or else you hit a worm burner right down the middle.
This one's not going to get more than 10 feet off the ground. Bounces all the way through to Hester. Lost it, picked it up at the 20. Trying to turn the corner, and is going to get run out of bounds before he reaches the 25-yard line. Dominique Foxworth ran him out of bounds, and now Rex Grossman, and you've got to figure this Chicago Bear offense is feeling pretty good about itself. 2 touchdowns in the last 5.5 minutes of the game to pull into a 34-34 tie.
And Chicago really did Denver a favor there by mishandling that kickoff. First of all, went right through the legs of a guy, and then Hester himself mishandled it.
Adrian Peterson and Jason McKee in the backfield. Grossman, play action, throwing, has his man. That's Desmond Clark. Clark inside the 40-yard line of the Denver Broncos.
Well, beautiful play action, and Desmond Clark right off the bat beats the coverage, and it's a perfect strike from Rex Grossman. Overplaying the run. Look at all the linebackers within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage. Grossly overplaying the run, and Denver really got caught short.
From the 37 to the ground game, Peterson up the middle, still on his feet. Inside the 30, and can Adrian Peterson move a pile or what?
And he's still up. He never did go down.
Robbie Gould.
That's the target line for Gould. That would be a 50-yarder. You know they'd like to be inside of that on a wet field. The air's cold, a little heavy. I think 50 yards be asking a lot.
The line of scrimmage is now at 29.
Yeah, they're inside of that, so.
2nd and 2. Peterson diving for a first down. Let's check in with James Brown in New York.
Hey, Greg, after Neil Rackers missed a 32-yard field goal that would have won it in overtime for Arizona, Kurt Warner back in his own end zone, stripped from him, recovered by Tuli Banta-Kane, and San Francisco wins it 37-31, snapping an 8-game losing streak. Back to Greg and Dan.
All right, JB, thank you. 3rd and 1 for the Bears and Rex Grossman. Peterson finds enough room for a first down to the 25.
That was an outstanding surge by the Bears offensive line.
Robbie Gould has kicked a 24-yarder and a 44-yarder today.
You can almost see the disappointment all over the Denver sideline and in their defense at having had a 14-point lead. Let it get away from them in regulation, and now they've got their backs against the wall.
Peterson. penalty marker flies.
If this is a holding call against Chicago.
Nope, it's against Denver.
Okay. Because that's the one thing you say in the huddle as an offensive lineman. Keep your hands in.
Holding on the defense, number 99. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run.
That's a first down. The penalty is on Alvin McKinley.
Over the years, you just didn't see Mike Shanahan football teams beat themselves. Those are the kind of penalties that you just can't afford. Moves Robbie Gould that much closer. Automatic first down.
Line of scrimmage, the Denver 19.
Keep hammering away. Just get Gould closer and closer.
And Grossman goes to the middle of the field and takes a knee to set up Gould.
I think we might see the Chicago strategy on that. What do you think? Well, Mike Shanahan, he started this all about calling a timeout right before the field goal kicker kicking. We'll see what he's
Dan, how things changed. Just 10 minutes ago, the Bears season looked to be over. Now let's see if Mike Shanahan does what you just mentioned.
Well, got caught before. Let's see what he does here.
Kick is on its way and looks good. What a comeback. The Bears come from behind to tie it at 34, win it in overtime, 37-34.
Their hopes are slim, but they still have some. Give a lot of props to the Chicago Bears and Devin Hester. He kept his team alive, and then the rest of the guys chipped in the fourth quarter and overtime.
The Bears, 17 unanswered points in the last 8 minutes and 58 seconds. They win it and improve to 5-6 to keep their hopes alive. Our final score, the Bears 37-34 winners. Coming up tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by new episodes of The Amazing Race, Cold Case, and Shark. 37-34, the Bears in overtime. For Dan Deerdorf and the rest of our CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel saying so long from Chicago. This has been terrific. You've been watching the NFL on CBS.